is out, and we continue to have one open board seat. Number 3 on our agenda is approval of minutes from July 8th. Making an assumption that the minutes have been read by all. Look for a motion or a comment, Aaron?
I move to accept as written.
All right. Have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 4, Hickory Junction Lift Station Phase 2 or land acquisition discussion. Mr. Jacobs?
Yeah, thank you, Board. As you are aware, the Utility Board and City Council authorized the moving forward with a condemnation action for the Hickory Junction Lift Station Phase 2 portion of the project. We have a piece of property that we need to acquire that is burdened, interestingly, by other utility lines going through that were not in easement. My ask of the board is to allow Mr. Basquill to move forward with the settlement negotiations as discussed in the executive session earlier today.
Any questions or comments from the public related to land acquisition? Comments from the board? Do I hear motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize general manager.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution 2026-07, Public-Private Agreement for Wholesale Water Supply Phase 2 BOT, PPA and GMP report number 1. Whew. Mr. Jacobs.
Board, as you are aware, this is and discussed in the working session. This is a resolution related to the wholesale water supply program. John Leitner from Butler Fairman and Ryan Ottinger are here that can answer specific questions. But this resolution is authorization to proceed with the approval of the public-private agreement and the GMP report. I'll read the resolution, but happy to answer any questions in advance. Resolution 2026-07, resolution approving a public-private agreement for the wholesale water supply program Phase 2 and GMP report number 1. Whereas the city of Lebanon, Indiana owns and operates by and through the Lebanon Utility Service Board, a municipally owned utility known as Lebanon Utilities, for the purposes of providing safe, reliable, and efficient water service in and around the city. Whereas the board finds it in the best interest of the ratepayers, the utility, and the city to expand, improve, and maintain the infrastructure of the utility's water system. Whereas the board authorized the issuance of a request for proposals and qualifications for the construction and operation of the wholesale water supply program Phase 2 improvements on a build, operate, transfer basis, which improvements include early procurement items and have been reviewed under the state revolving fund program pursuant to Indiana law, including Indiana Code 5233. Whereas on or about April 8, 2026, the board conducted a public hearing related to the RFQ, the project, and the scoring committee's recommendation to select Reynolds Construction for the construction of the project. Whereas after a thorough review of the submitted proposals, the scoring committee's recommendation and input from staff, the board approved Reynolds Construction's response to the RFQ. Whereas the board recommended the negotiation of a public-private agreement with Reynolds Construction for the design and construction of wholesale water supply program Phase 2. Whereas the board has received and reviewed the public-private agreement for the construction of wholesale water supply program Phase 2 dated July 21, 26 between the utility and Reynolds Construction for the design and construction of the project. Whereas the board has received and reviewed Reynolds Construction's wholesale water supply program Phase 2 guaranteed maximum price report number 1, together with staff's recommendation to approve the same. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Lebanon Utility Service report that 1, the PPA is approved and adopted by the board and shall be effective upon the execution by the utility general manager. And 2, GMP report number 1 is approved and adopted by the board and shall become effective upon its execution by the utility general manager, adopted by the City of Lebanon Utility Service Board this 21st day of July 2026. Happy to answer any questions.
Any comments or questions from the public? I would like to ask Ryan and/or John to come up and just describe what's included in GMP 1 and the first phase of the purchase.
Good evening. So for GMP1, and John may need to come up and go into a little bit more detail on this. What this will include is basically what we have right now at Hickory Junction is the lift station, and it serves the Bel Canto area. And
Ryan, this is for water.
oh,
GMP 1 for the water.
I apologize. I'm on the wrong page.
Yep.
So let me switch pages here. I apologize. Okay, for phase 1, this will be basically to procure all material, long lead items, so we can get ready to start construction. We're hoping to start construction in September on this line, due to be in service January 1 of 2028. So this allows us to, similar to what we did on phase 1, go ahead and get all that material, have it ready and prepared. Some stuff takes longer than others. This gives us a large head start on that before we actually start doing the construction. So that's basically what the GMP 1 will take care of.
Thank you.
And the GMP report number 1 is for $6.27 million. And the total phase 2 is estimated to be $75 million. So this is the beginning of the endeavor.
And we do anticipate within the next couple meetings, GMP report 2 coming with the construction contract. Correct?
Yes, that is correct. Like I said, we're looking to start construction on, there is a portion of this that is on IEDC existing property. So as we do on the rest of it, we're still going through, all of it's going through environmental right now. There will be some land acquisition, but with IEDC already owning this property, we're able to start construction on that. So we're looking at targeting September. So we're looking probably, I would assume, the last board meeting in August. That would be our, right now,
That's our target.
anticipated timeline. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Part of the SRF requirements too is a submission regarding the project useful life. And I noted that this project is expected to last for 50 years after constructed.
Other questions, comments? Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve resolution 2026-07 approving public-private agreement and GMP report number 1, PPA Wholesale Water Supply Program Phase 2.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Resolution 2026-08, public-private agreement and GM report number 1 for the Hickory Junction Lift Station Phase 2. Jeff?
Thank you, Board. This is, as discussed in the working session, this is for the civil portion of the wastewater system, and it is the Phase 2 portion of the Hickory Junction Lift Station. As noted, we still have some land acquisition to do, but would like to move forward with a public-private agreement. This resolution is authorizing that along with GMP report number 1. Also, again, John Leitner and Ryan Ottinger are here and happy to answer any questions, I'm sure. Before I read the resolution, any comments or questions that I can specifically address? Resolution 2026-08, resolution approving a public-private agreement for the Civil Wastewater Collection System Improvements Program, Hickory Junction Lift Station Phase 2, and GMP report number 1. Whereas the City of Lebanon, Indiana owns and operates by and through the Lebanon Utility Service Board, a municipally owned utility known as Lebanon Utilities for the purpose of providing safe, reliable, and efficient wastewater service in and around the city. Whereas the board finds it in the best interest of the ratepayers of the utility and the city to expand, improve, and maintain the infrastructure utilities wastewater system. Whereas the board authorized the issuance of a request for proposals and qualifications for the construction and operation of a civil wastewater collection system improvements on a build, operate, transfer basis pursuant to Indiana law, including Indiana Code 5233. Whereas on about June 4th, 2026, the board conducted a public hearing related to the RFQ, the project scoring committee's recommendation to select F.A. Wilhelm Construction for the construction of the project. Whereas after a thorough review of the submitted proposals, the scoring committee's recommendations, and input from staff, the board approved F.A. Wilhelm's response to the RFPQ. Whereas the board recommended the negotiation of a public-private agreement with F.A. Wilhelm for the design and construction of the civil wastewater collection system improvements program. Whereas the board has received and reviewed the public-private agreement and for the construction of the civil wastewater collection system improvement program dated July 21, 26 between the utility and F.A. Wilhelm for the design and construction of the project. Whereas the board has received and reviewed F.A. Wilhelm's civil wastewater collection system improvement program guaranteed maximum price, report number 1 for the Hickory Junction Lift Station Phase 2, together with staff's recommendation to approve the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Lebanon Utility Service Board that the PPA is approved and adopted by the board and shall become effective upon the execution by the utility general manager. 2, the GMP report number 1 is approved and adopted by the board, and the same shall become effective upon the execution by the utility general manager, adopted by the City of Lebanon Utility Service Board this 21st day of July, 2026. Happy to answer any questions.
Quick description, Ryan, you started. Cut you off a little bit.
Should I talk about water now since I've already talked about this? Yeah, you know I'm ready for this one because I was so excited to talk about it. This is for Phase 2 of the Hickory Junction area. Phase 1 was to simply serve the Belcanto addition and the field house itself. Now this, with the expansion of this, we already have an empty wet well in there for the sewer. This will allow us to expand to, we currently have about 250 EDUs, which is the equivalent of 250 homes of what that area could serve. This will, on Phase 2, expand that to 2,000 EDUs. So we'll allow for all the future planning for the immediate time. Eventually, this is sized to where we could go up if the growth in that area will sustain it. We can go up to 6,000 EDUs in a future phase. But for right now, it will be the upgrades and then also conveyance, force main to go to an existing gravity sewer line in our system. So we're upgrading that and then taking it out of the Hickory Junction area and bringing it to a gravity sewer that will bring it to the wastewater treatment plant. So that's basically the kind of nuts and bolts of this. This will be F.A. Wilhelm will be doing this project.
So we are approving tonight the full cost of the project, correct? Materials,
yes.
Construction, everything.
Yes, sir. Inspection and everything.
That full cost is $7,481,000, which is within our budgeted amount of $7,500,000.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. This is it. This was a budgeted item. We've had this on the horizon for a while. So we're F.A. Wilhelm's ready to go, and so are we. And it does come in just a little bit under budget.
Thank you. Any questions, comments or questions from the public? Additional comments from the board? Hear a motion, please?
I move to approve Resolution 2026-08, approving the public-private agreement and GMP report number 1 for the Hickory Junction Lift Station Phase 2 project.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second for the resolution for the public-private agreement and GMP report 1 for Hickory Junction Lift Station Phase 2. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Spencer, you up next. Retroactive Sugar Creek well pump repair. Back to Ryan.
He was scared to come up here, so I thought I'd take the retroactive he was a little nervous about. Yes, this was a perfect storm for the utilities. We had a well go down. It was early June. And so we called Peerless in for an emergency repair. As they were repairing that one, we lost another motor on an pump. The pump was under warranty on an additional well. So while we were there, they were pulling the well, noticed that the casing was pitted, and that you obviously don't want that because it can allow for infiltration in that casing. So we went ahead and had them install new casing. They were scheduled to be cleaned this year anyway. So while they were there, we went ahead and had them do all that. If you'll remember, at the end of 2025, we did a selection of Peerless as our preferred provider on that. So that's why we went ahead and made the emergency call. We have 5 wells at Sugar Creek. We operate 3 at a time and put those on rotation. So with both of those being down, in order to be safe with our water, it being June and it already starting to heat up and demand already starting to go up, instead of having them leave, demobilize, have to come back and pay for mobilization again, we went ahead and had them correct both wells while they were down there. I thought that would be the most efficient, and it would make sure that we had all 5 wells back in operation, and they are back in operation, and the repair went well, everything went well. It is a little over our well improvement, rehab, and upgrade budget. But we do have room for the remainder out of the unforeseen equipment repair and replacement, which we did not know we were going to need new motors in that. So we went ahead and took that out of that. So that's the two line items that this will come out of.
Are the motors actually replaced?
They were. They're new motors.
Okay. The reason I asked that, when I looked at the invoices, I didn't see a separate listing for the cost of the motors.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if you look at Sugar Creek number 4, for example, under materials, you have a Grundfos 40 horsepower, 6-inch diameter motor. It's on a line item.
Okay, so I just overlooked it. Thank you.
No problem.
How old were the current motors?
The one was about 15 years old. The other one was about 10. Sometimes you can rebuild them. These were not, that we sent them back to the shop to see if we could get a rebuild, save a little bit of money, but it was not feasible.
Had pretty typical life for those motors.
Yeah, especially out there with only having 5, 3 are running all day, every day. So it takes a toll on them.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from the public? Additional comments from the board? Do I hear a motion?
A motion to retroactive approve Peerless Pump invoice for the amount not to exceed $121,911.29 in accordance with IC 36-1-4-16.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Water and wastewater project. Oh, you're not afraid of this one.
Hello, all. For this first section, I've actually got Matt Meyer here with Bowen, who is going to go through and give you guys a short little presentation and show you some fun stuff and good visuals on the wastewater treatment plant expansion. I figured it'd be good to Ryan and I had some good ideas about getting some of the contractors in here, get some FaceTime with you guys, get you familiarized with who's going to be around town for the next couple of years and helping us out with some of our infrastructure improvements. So with that, I'll have Matt and his team come up and give a little intro and then show you some good stuff. And then I'll be back.
Thanks, Spencer, and thank you all for the opportunity to be here and give you guys an update on our work at the wastewater plant. Let me plug in the computer here. Okay, like Spencer said, I'm Matt Meyer, project manager for Bowen for the wastewater plant expansion project.
And I'm Chris Cutshall, the site superintendent.
So real quick today, we're just going to run you through some updates on our schedule and show you some photos of our progress and give you some fun stats and then open it up for questions. So this slide shows the overall site plan of the project. So this is from Wessler's design drawings. And it's highlighted to show the critical components for phase one substantial completion. So this project has two phases. The biggest schedule challenge of both is phase one, which we knew going into it. So these portions of the project must be online and in service by the end of this year. And we're currently on schedule to do that. It's taken a lot of effort, a lot of collaboration and contributions from Lebanon Utilities and Wessler Engineering to get us there. But right now. So this is just a side-by-side showing the site on the left just before we received a notice to proceed, which was late August of last year. And the photo on the right is as of last Thursday. So a little less than a year. That's the difference in the site. So working at an extremely fast pace. Started construction before design was complete. Started procurement before design was complete. Just a tremendous amount of upfront effort and collaboration, especially from Wessler, to help focus on the critical pieces of the design, and then Lebanon Utilities to help tremendously to help us navigate their process and figure out how we could accomplish this in the time that we have to. So this is just another view of the site. You can see, you know, how much is going on there, and how much just activity. And amongst all of that, Tony and his team still have to operate that plant and treat water. So just really appreciative of the accommodation from him and his team, and then Ryan and his folks to help us.
And we also appreciate you, the way you've been coordinating with our staff there to keep the plant running while you're doing the building. So it goes both ways. Appreciation.
Appreciate that. Yeah. And two, I mean, we're doing this project amongst a lot of residents that live close by. So Ryan and Spencer have been pivotal in ensuring that we don't impact them negatively. So it's really been collaborative. So we've got, bear with me, I'm going to switch to.
I just wanted to mention, I was out there, Tony took me around last week, driving around in the trucks. I got the bad leg right now, and I was just very impressed at how clean the site is with so much going on. There was like probably, I think they told me there was like 83 guys on site that day, and that's a lot of people for that site, and Tony's happy. So appreciate the job you guys are doing.
It's important to keep Tony happy, you know.
It is. Tony does a good job, and he lets people know.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and that's all credit to Chris here. He's the conductor of the orchestra. He makes sure all this flows and works and everybody works together. So how often do you think you talk to Tony?
Probably 3 or 4 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping him happy. It's been easy so far, so hopefully we can keep that going.
Yep. So I'm going to pull up our.
And for the public, we're talking about Tony Green. He's our wastewater plant manager. And he's,
As long as we're getting stuff done, he's happy.
Yeah.
And he's been real accommodating for the amount of work that we're putting in place and not interrupting his day to day. He's been awesome. I've definitely made an impact.
So here's our our drone map, and this really helps to show progress. So this is Wessler's site plan overlaid to our drone imagery. So you can kind of get a feel for all the components of the project that have been started. So where we are progress-wise, so our goal going into this obviously was to meet our dates for phase one, which is challenge number one. And then while we're here to expedite the completion of phase two and the rest of the project and bring those dates up. So there are a total of 17 new structures on this site as part of the project. And by the end of August, we will have started or completed all but two. By the end of August, all concrete work will be complete for phase one, and about 60% of the process piping. So from September, October, November, we'll be focused on process equipment installation, completing the process piping, and then electrical, INC, and then start up in December. So let's see. Some statistics. Everybody enjoys some statistics on work completed to date. Two, it'll give you an idea of the amount of traffic in and out of this plant that Ryan and his team and Lebanon Utilities have had to accommodate, which we appreciate. So to date, we've worked over 60,000 man hours. We've excavated a little over 88,000 cubic yards of material from the site, which is 880 triaxle dump trucks. We've poured 8,200 cubic yards of concrete, which is 820 concrete trucks. We've installed 1,300 tons of rebar, which is 64 semi-loads. We've placed 31,000 tons of stone, which is 1,500 triaxle loads, 1,900 linear feet of process piping, 230 H piles, 6,700 lag boards, and 110 sheet piles. So a lot of work put in place in just under a year. So, but we still got a long ways to go, but everything's trending well. All the upfront efforts from everybody involved, like I said, Wessler and Lebanon Utilities has gotten us to this point. So we appreciate it.
We appreciate your partnership.
Questions for us?
One comment I'd make is probably a month ago, I think with IWE, is that the right organization? We had the meeting out there with, basically it's younger engineers I noticed that are learning. And I think this is quite a display for folks who are early in their engineering careers to come onto our site and see what was going on. So in the midst of all the chaos that's going on out there with all the trucks coming in and out, Bowen hosted these folks, and it was, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 folks. Hosted them, kind of worked through similar pictures and scenes from what we just saw, and then hosted everyone for a plant tour and walked them around the construction. So in the midst of all that, they're still making time to kind of help their profession and show some kind of neat work going on in the field of wastewater treatment. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, Spencer sets up, these guys are kind of underselling how good a job they've done. You know, not only not to take anything away from Tony and his groups, I don't want him to be upset, but we also operate our water wastewater administration out of that site. Our water distribution department and our sewer collections department all operate out of that site. It's got one gate, one entrance, and you heard the amount of trucks going in and out, and that doesn't include what we have on a daily basis. And what you, other than a little dust, would not know, it's a construction site as far as day-to-day operations. They have had minimal to zero impact on our day-to-day operations. Help us when we need it. If we need anything, they're there to do it. So just can't thank Bowen enough for what their efforts on this project.
All right, so we'll get into my presentation here. I've got some civil projects and some LEAP projects here. So this first one up, we've got our 4-H Fairgrounds lift station replacement. As the board remembers, this is a kind of can-style lift station, the last one in our system. Be a really good win for us to get this project done, keep our guys safe when we're out in the field doing maintenance. This one is waiting on delivery for pumps. The on-site construction is set to begin in August or September, so we're pretty excited to get this one going.
Land acquisition complete?
There, working on some site access and easement. F.A. Wilhelm is working through some of the neighbors there, so everything is a full go. Pretty good and pretty happy to get this one going, as I mentioned.
What's the timing on that, Spencer?
2 or 3
2 to
months.
3? That's good.
Next one here, we had a joint operation with the county, Boone County and Bowen. Bowen helped us get a bridge repair made to the Park Street Bridge, which is bridge number 310 in the county's rule book. And this project is completed. Took about a month and a half, 2 months to get completed. They basically went in and undermined this water main and supported it, got some rebar in there and cleaned up that area because we had some sinkholes along the road, which created some unsafe conditions. But Bowen was able to come in and do a great job. Another one of their teams do a great job and get this one knocked out for us. It was an in and out operation, had no complaints from neighbors or anything, even with a bridge closed down for a couple weeks on end. So this one was a really good win for us as well. And then next up is our Chicago Street water treatment plant improvements. Pepper Construction and the design team are finalizing the administration building. You'll see here in the photo, I've got kind of the front, or what I believe would be the northern portion of our property there at Chicago Street. A lot of earthwork had been going on in the last couple weeks and months. We see some equipment here. I believe they're doing some borings to get some foundation work started. This one will take place. Ryan, myself, and a couple other team members, along with the water distribution team, will move out to this site. So that will be our building and new home in the coming future. This one is moving forward at a slower pace, but we do believe that everything will be done on schedule and no
Is
complications
this a
there.
civil project or is this part of the plant expansion?
Yeah, this is part of that expansion.
Okay. So that is underway. Okay.
Yep. And you can drive by. We've got a fence up right there at the sidewalk, on the other side of the sidewalk. So the sidewalk is still accessible, I believe. So you could drive by anytime, take a look. It's pretty interesting to watch them get all that leveled and get everything prepped up. So along with this, there is some additional work with BF&S and Thieneman. They're working on the bulk water station. We're working on prices for that to get that installed, the bulk water station that is in 2026. We've got some additional items like the backwash holding tank and well house replacement scope, and that will occur in 2027.
Okay.
Bulk water station goes at the Chicago Street plant.
Right now,
be
it is
installed.
currently at our wastewater treatment plant
Right.
at
And it's
Lafayette
moving?
Avenue. Yep, and we are going to move it over to this site,
Okay, good.
which will help free up
Good.
quite a bit of traffic area
Good.
through our site. So from that, we'll move along into our LEAP infrastructure. You've seen this map probably 1,000 times, but I want to just kind of give you the lay of the land. And for those online and who see the video down the road, this is the wholesale water tagged in with some Canopy 5 and some other projects around town, as well as wastewater and water. So this is a good starting point if you need to get the lay of the land. We'll start with the wholesale phase 1. Kokosing is doing this project. Package A and B, which is the water main transmission lines. You can see here we've kind of done a good job of working with Kokosing here to put together a kind of a percentage complete, if you want to call it that, kind of little chart here. So you've got the overall water main that's installed, the percentage complete and left, and then you've got the testing in progress, and then you have disinfection as well. And I'd be happy to share any of this with any of you guys in the meantime after this. So
And then you're on schedule, right?
yes, sir. Yep. So we'll move on from the water line to package C, which is the booster station. We've got ground storage tank panels going up. They're being precasted on site. We have started the foundation work for the booster station, and that booster station is the EFI building. That should be, I believe, on site September, I believe. Yep, we've got a site visit scheduled for EFI. They build this thing in their warehouse and their yard in Illinois, and we will go see that, I believe, at the end of this month, early next month. So excited to see that and get that moving and get that on site. And the target completion for the booster station is, I believe, scheduled for early December to have that, I believe, completely tested and erected and everything. So move into package D, the elevated storage tank. The interior pedestal is finished and the floor is being completed. The tank hoist date is targeted for July 27th. The tank lid and floor are being installed through August and September, with final coating on the interior finishing in October. Full
Would that lift take place in one day?
I don't believe so. I think this will be a couple day process, or will it be completed in one?
Yeah, it's a couple day process.
John, Tyler, whoever.
It's a couple day process to get it set up, and then the lift itself is a kind of a reverse New Year's Eve ball, I guess you could say, but very slow. Will happen all kind of in one day, but it's over the course of hours that they lift it up. But there'll be prep work all this week. They're already on site starting that to get ready to slowly raise it up and get it into place on Monday.
Yeah, but you're going to kind of let us know. We can go out there and watch. It could be kind of cool.
Yeah, yes. So again, it won't be, we say kind of the reverse New Year's Eve. It will not be that exciting. It's a slow moving process, but we will have time lapse cameras out there, be able to share afterwards that we can speed it up and make it look a little bit more exciting. We're hoping for boring, and then it all goes up and in place.
For boring, I like that.
And we will extend an invite to you guys, as well as some other members of the community, to come out and check that out. That'll be a pretty fun thing to watch. That is all I have on that. From here, we'll move into the Leap Regional Lift Station. This project is being done by Reynolds Construction. This is split up into kind of three sections if you want to look at it like that. There's the lift station itself, which is the dry and wet well, the gravity sewer line, and then the force main. So all lift station vertical concrete walls have been constructed. More than 2,200 yards of concrete have been placed to date. One upper wall pour remains to complete the influent chamber on the north side of the lift station. The concrete pump bases were poured and the horizontal pump supports and pumps have been installed. You can kind of see that in your left picture there. I believe those pumps, each one weighs roughly 3,000 pounds. So, and that's 60 feet below grade. So it was fun to watch a crane take those in. As for you can see that large header there, the piece of pipe that is colored red. I believe that weighed 16,000 pounds. So pretty big lift there to get that thing in the hole. We'll move on to the gravity sewer line portion of this project. All 48-inch ductile iron gravity sewer main has been installed, which is roughly 4,800 feet of pipe laid more than 20 feet deep. 15 manholes installed on the 48-inch diameter gravity sewer line. These manholes are 9 feet in diameter and in an excess of 20 feet in depth. So a lot of excavation on this portion of the project. Reynolds did an amazing job. Really kind of flew through this. Little to no dewatering needed in this process, which helped us crush that schedule, and they did a great job. We will move on to the force main portion. 2 horizontal directional drills of 30-inch HDPE pipe were completed under Sanitary Creek and I-65. Each of the horizontal directional drills was 1,100 feet in length. So you can see that here, one of those pipes, the HDPE, being maneuvered and pulled underneath 65 there. That's the interstate you'll see. And there is another section of this project, which is the water line. And that has completed the installation of 3,700 feet of 12-inch water line from Sam Ralston Parkway under I-65 and Sanitary Creek to the new lift station site. And that is complete. So I do have a couple others that I don't have images of, but just wanted to do kind of a quick update on. and that would be the Grant Street water main replacement. We partnered with the city and Midwest Paving, who's been a great partner in relocating our water main along Grant Street. You kind of north of Casey's, going north from Indianapolis Avenue up to Washington, is currently shut down. They've been a great team to work with in getting that water line relocated. So wanted to point that out, that they've been great to work with, and that project is still underway. I believe they're up to East Street. But everything's moving along great. We've had little to no issues with them. They've been great to work with. The next one would be Edwards Drive lift station. This is in design phases. If the board remembers, we brought that, I believe, to the last meeting to get the design approval. And so that project is moving forward, and that will take place, I believe, in 2027 and beyond. So, and then our next one is one of our projects that we're pretty proud of, which is the sanitary sewer lining BOT. We've kind of hit a little bit of a stall there, but we're in a planning phase to where we've got a little bit of money left for this year if we can squeeze it in. But Inliner and the LU team is working closely to come up with some potential manholes that might need rehabbed between now and the end of the year. And we're doing a pretty good job of setting ourselves up for great success going into the next year as a part of this BOT program with the amount of planning that we put into
Has
this.
the plan for next year been determined yet?
I believe Cameron Carney has a pretty good grasp around that. I would point you to him to answer that question, but I do believe that him and Inliner have done a pretty good job. I'd say probably 90% of it is accounted for in their brain. So they've done a great job of meeting almost bi-weekly, I believe, to discuss this plan. So pretty proud of their performance on this, and it's been fun to watch those guys do such a great job on this. And for that, that's all I've got. So if you have any questions or want me to send you anything, please let me know.
Just a comment and one question. We're really blessed to have a great stable of general contractors in town with this immense amount of work going on. And these updates seem great. It seemed like everyone's doing a great job. And just wanted to point out that we have Kokosing, who are one of our water contractors, but we were able to call on them to help us with a large water main break over the weekend. You want to
Yeah,
talk about
I'll
that,
actually
or Ryan?
tee Ryan up for that one. We did have a water main break on Lebanon Street, and I'll let Ryan come up and give a little bit of a background on that, how the team did.
He's afraid.
Yeah, let me deliver some more bad news. Thanks, Spencer. Yeah, we had a pretty difficult situation this weekend. We had a valve that we weren't aware of completely blow apart underneath State Road 39 in Essex, so kind of near Walgreens, to give you an idea. And we had to call on everyone that we could find. It was myself, Matt Hutton, Cameron Van Camp from the wastewater treatment plant, Chad Nance, Tony Green, Derek White, also wastewater treatment plant, Cody Summerfield and Cameron Kearney from the sewer collections, and then Zach Weber and Caden Shackelford from distribution, and then Bobby Williams and Steve Moringer from water treatment. All were out on this. We were there about 16 or 17 hours on Saturday and about the same on Sunday. We did get a hold of Kokosing. We shut off 12 valves, and the valves in the area weren't holding for us to be able to work on this. So they got us in touch with a company in Southern Indiana that was able to put in a valve in line and insert a valve in line on Sunday and help us take care of that. Another issue we had, there was about 8 inches of concrete and rebar between the asphalt and our vault that we had to jackhammer through, which took a considerable amount of time. We had to also man flagging for that area and make sure that traffic stayed flowing. We were able to keep 2 lanes of traffic open and also able to control traffic when semis came through and emergency vehicles came through. But it was a daunting task. A valve, as we started wrapping up the first valve, a valve about 25 feet away ruptured also. So we had to go from one to the other and fix that. So the crew was able to wrap that up yesterday, and then able to actually get the road patched and repaired today, and everything went well. But it was one of the worst I had seen as far as just consumption of time and effort. And the guys never stopped. They stopped for restroom break and to keep drinking water. And that was it. They just, really put everything into and we kept everybody in service. There was a couple houses out of service for a couple hours on Sunday, but we were able to maintain service for everybody. They did have low pressure in some areas because of the valving, but we were able to keep everybody in service and get that repaired. So I just really can't thank the guys enough and the crews enough for everybody just pitching in and getting that taken care of.
And we are a municipal utility. Our motto is neighbors serving neighbors. And I don't think it can be a better example than what you just presented.
We also had a neighbor bring us some breakfast sandwiches and also some candy bars and trail mix for the guys to have throughout the day. One of the neighbors that was affected the most, inconvenienced more than anyone. So I really appreciate our customers couldn't have been more respectful in the caution zones and understandable of, that we were doing everything we could to get everybody back in service in a timely manner. And it turned out that it went really well, but I had some doubts Saturday about 9:00 at night, knowing we had to come back in Sunday morning at about 7 and start all over. So, but the guys did a great job.
Yeah, we are municipal utility. We don't have a utility provider that's miles and miles away. And this is just another example of why Lebanon made a decision decades ago to have its own utility.
Yes, sir. Any questions on that? Or we do have representatives from Kokosing here also. If there's any questions on wholesale water phase 1, like Spencer said, it is on schedule, but
It is on schedule, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're doing these updates quarterly. So we plan on having Kokosing and Reynolds do similar to what Bowen did. This meeting, do a quick presentation also. So to give you guys updates next quarter and we'll continue to do that every quarter is give project updates for civil and LEAP.
Who is managing the weather?
The weather?
You heard right.
That's a 4-letter word, Aaron. We can talk about that. All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Do want to recognize our Kokosing gang here. Tyler, you're in the grind of the project now. I hope you're sleeping some nights now in what we're doing, but I know we're in the home stretch for both the sewer and water. You guys are putting in a lot of time. We appreciate it. January 1 is pretty hard deadline for us, and we appreciate all your attempts to get us across the finish line before then. Any other comments from the board? All right, approval of claims, payroll, and transfers dated today. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve claims, payroll transfers dated July 21st, 2026 in the amount of $3,210,043.46 for claims and payroll and $658,394.25 for transfers.
I will second that. The transfers are $658,349.25. I think Bill transposed two numbers, so a second.
Okay.
Second.
Second. We have a motion, a second, to approve the claims, payroll, and transfers. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approved. Any other business? Members? Mr. Pascal?
I don't have anything, sir.
All right. Opportunity for public comment. Anyone wish to speak this evening? Welcome.
Hello, my name is Tina Oakes, and I'm from Pike County Township. And my question today to Lebanon Utilities is about the safety and quality of the wastewater that'll be coming out of LEAP into your new wastewater treatment plant. Specifically, I'm interested in what policies and procedures regarding safety and quality. Monitoring will be done to identify, contain, and remediate any contamination of water discharge into your new wastewater treatment plant. And the reason I'm asking this now is because you're making improvements and building this new wastewater treatment plant. And I know, coming from my work history, you actually have to build in things while you're doing it, and rather than trying to retrofit them. Specifically, will there be a plan for an alternate discharge of on-site for contaminated water at LEAP rather than going into your new wastewater treatment plant? Will there be real-time monitoring of the water quality? And will there be plans for public notification? I think we've already had an example in the news of a rare bacterial contamination coming out of a data center in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So thank you very much.
From a question standpoint, this is public comment time. If you'd like to stay afterwards, our experts may spend some time with you just to help you understand any of these potential questions you have.
Sure, love to, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name's Lou Ann Baker. I'm also from Pike Township across the county line. I just wanted to say we were able to attend the Drainage Board hearing or meeting on Monday. I had a chance to talk with the surveyor and understand that the study with Christopher Burke Engineering looking at the potential discharge capacities for the new NPDES permit is continuing to move forward. The surveyor hoped to see that report within a couple of weeks. Our understanding with process, then it would then move to the Drainage Board. And I think, as has been discussed here by a couple of your members, would come to your attention and move forward. We're pleased to hear that that project is still moving, that there is still an opportunity for public input, and we look forward for additional comments and learning more as information becomes available. Thank you.
Add anything? You've sent a couple updates.
Sorry.
Would you like to add anything? You've sent a couple updates regarding you.
No, that was a pretty good summary of what I understand is going on with the Burke report, and that it'll be an important factor for Westler to consider as it amends its preliminary engineering report, and interested members of the public, like all of us, are ready for that report to be completed and see what it says.
Yeah, hopefully, I think our initial thoughts were we would have had it by now, but it looks like we're a couple weeks out, and the county's a little bit more firm in what their belief in that also. So I think we'll all feel pretty good about that here in a couple wease.
I guess the timeline would be that if we do get the report by August 3rd, that Westler would take about a month to amend its preliminary engineering report. And then after that, we'll have 2 public hearings. And at the second public hearing, we'll likely make a decision on how the outflow will be handled. So that's a broad timeline. That Ed, is that a reasonable timeline from your understanding also?
Sounds reasonable. We just can't predict what's going to happen when, so.
All right. Any other comments from the public? Our next board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, August 5th at 5 p.m. If there are no other topics, a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
We are adjourned.